Hey guys, so it's me and my little daughter. She's a cutie. And we got a question. I believe it's from Miss Mellyfull. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to answer the first part of this question. Just because it's so long, and if I put it in the questions and answers video, it's going to take up the whole video. So, I'm going to just answer the first part now. So how did I meet my husband? Well, such a long story. I was going through a lot in my life at one point. Still am, but at that point it was getting really hectic. And I was 18, and I just decided that I was so sick of it, and I just wanted to go away for a few days because I was just really stressed out. So stressed out, it was just unbelievable. And so I did. I went to go visit my uncle who lives in Oklahoma. I'm in Illinois, he's in Oklahoma. So I went to go visit him in Oklahoma, and I'm gonna get all lost off track. So, yeah, because like I said, I was stressed and I just needed a little getaway. And it was so weird too, because it was just like one day I just kind of woke up and said, well, I'm gonna go to Oklahoma. And it was strange because I went on like a Wednesday. You know, you don't go on a vacation on a Wednesday. And he had to work too, and it was strange. So I went for like a few days, and I had to stop over on the way there and on the way back. Well, when I was coming home, the day before I came home, the night before I should say, I had a dream that I met this red-haired guy. I couldn't see his face in the dream. It was all like whited out. But all I knew was that I really loved him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In the dream, I just knew I loved this red-haired guy. I didn't know who he was, but I knew I really loved him. And I thought, well, that's strange, because I always had dreams about love. I mean, I was like a teenager, you know. It's all teenage girls think about is love. So, yeah, so I kind of wrote it off. Then later that day, as I was boarding my flight to go to Dallas-Fort Worth for my stopover, I started thinking, man, I really wish I could just, like, meet a Marine or something, because, or, you know, an Army person, because, I don't know, we were right next to a base, and, I just kind of, like, thought about it, and, you know, I thought, Army guys are hot, I want to meet an Army guy, so, and it wasn't, like, a big priority. It was, I didn't want just an Army guy just because of that. I wanted to fall in love with somebody, and I thought, well, of course, I've seen The Officer and Gentleman a million times, so, of course, I think, like, big romantic story, but, you know, that's only something girls dream about. Well, anyway, I was at my stopover, and I'm sitting there reading a book until my plane from Dallas, Fort Worth, back home, and, I was reading, what was I reading? Message in a Bottle by Nicholas Sparks. And all of a sudden, because, you know, they were, like, the waiting areas were separated by glass, like, see-through glass. And if you've been to Dallas-Fort Worth, you know what I'm talking about. And through the glass, I saw this guy, red hair, green shirt, pants, walk by. He had a black sweatshirt on. And, I just, like, for some reason, I was just sitting there waiting for my flight. And for some reason, I was like, I could not stop smiling and laughing. Like, it was strange. As soon as I saw him walk past the window to come into the waiting room where we were, I just couldn't stop smiling. I never talked to him, just saw him, and I was just laughing hysterically. I don't know what hit me. It just was, like, crazy. And, so his number must have gotten called, because he went straight, hi. His number must have been called, because he went right to the, line where everybody was waiting to go on the plane. And then my number got called right after, or no, I came up there and I said, something about, well, when's my number going to be called, blah, 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 and I guess they called it literally right that second, so I went in line, and, I was actually in front of him. I ended up in front of him for some reason. I don't know how, but I just couldn't stop smiling and laughing. I was like just crazy. It was nutso. And I had a million bags. I had like 5 carry-on bags. I don't know what I was thinking. So I thought, well, I really want to meet this guy. And we were walking in that little area thing to get onto the plane. And I was walking in front of me, he was walking behind me, and I'm thinking, should I drop something so he can pick it up for me? I mean, what do I gotta do, you know? And I was like, am I gonna trip? I hope he's not looking at my butt. He was like standing right behind me. I'm like, do I have anything on my butt? Like, you know, did I sit in anything? It was nuts. And I was so nervous, and I'm thinking, I hope we sit next to each other. I hope we sit next to each other. I hope we sit next to each other the whole entire time. Well, when we ended up getting on the plane, he actually was like 10 rows ahead of me, so he wasn't sitting next to me, and I was in the back of the plane. And she's probably wondering what the heck's going on. And I was on the back of the plane, he was towards the front, middle front. And then, you know, of course, I'm like, whatever, my luck. But he ended up actually having to get up, because he was in one of those seats that can be used for a child. So, he ended up having to get up. And lo and behold, where did they move him? Right behind me. And I'm sitting here thinking, I have got to say something. If I don't say something, I'm going to just smack myself. And I'm going to regret it and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't tell you this, but I had a boyfriend at that time. I did. I had a boyfriend. But I really liked this guy. I didn't know what was going on with me. It was strange. And I was so nervous and still so smiley and just butterflies and weirdest feeling I've ever had in my entire life. And so we boarded the airplane, and he ended up sitting behind me. And of course I wanted to say something, so I asked a stupid question to the stewardess. I said, do you have an oven on the plane? And of course they don't. Like, who would ask that question? But me, because I wanted to talk to him, and I figured that's a stupid question. He'll probably, you know, talk to me then. And so she's like, no, and then he started talking, and then, oh my god, then I didn't even know what happened to the stewardess. I just kind of kept talking to him. And, yeah, I asked, we ended up sitting next to each other, because he, you know, invited me to come talk to him. And I ended up asking him for his address in the Marines so I could write to him while he was in Iraq. Because he was just coming home. He ended up living like 20 minutes away from me, too. It was crazy. And, he was coming home for just a few days to see his family before he left for Iraq. So that was the only time I met him, and I wrote to him for 8 months until he came back, and then we started dating. And now we're married, and now we have a baby. So, that is our story. So we met on an airplane, and we fell in love. And happily ever after, and we had a baby. And now we have a condo that we can't sell. So, that's our story. I don't know. I would actually, you know what, I'm gonna tag this video, because I'd like to hear how you guys met your husbands and the love of your lives. If you guys have any interesting stories to tell, that would just be really neat. So, that's how I met my husband. Keep on bringing the questions. If you got any, let us know. And, yeah, that's it. See ya. Can't stop recording. It's like crazy.